Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mona Eltahawy, and my big idea is fuck the patriarchy. And as an Egyptian, and as a feminist, and as a Muslim, my fuck the patriarchy was combined in a book I wrote last year called Headscarves and Hymens: Why the Middle East Needs a Sexual Revolution. Now, where I come from, that revolution is against not just the state, but against the street and the home, because the state, the street, and the home form what I call the trifecta of misogyny. And I'm not just Egyptian, I'm also a global feminist, and I'm a woman of the world. So I've taken my book across the world and taken that big idea of fuck the patriarchy on a book tour that I have called the Fuck Sex Vagina Book Tour. And on that book tour, I have been to India, where I have met with amazing feminists who run a feminist publishing house that publishes books on how feminists in India are fighting against sexual violence. I've been to Pakistan, where I met young women who break the tradition of coffee houses that line the streets that are just for men, and the women go there and demand that that public space belongs to them too. I've been to Nigeria, where I met my dear friend Bisi Alimi, who's speaking with me tomorrow on the panel, What is Gender?, and learned from him and his comrades there about the LGBTQ movement in Nigeria and how it's fighting anti-homosexuality laws pushed into place by white evangelicals from this country. I've also been to South Africa, where I met amazing feminist activists who shut down a university through their protests against sexual violence. I would like to see young women in this country, where at least 25% of women face sexual violence on campuses, shut down campus for women's bodily integrity. And finally, here in the United States, as an American, I am thrilled by the Black Lives Matter movement, which I believe is a true revolution because it was formed by 3 queer Black women. Within that movement is Say Her Name, which fights the racism against the Black community, but also the misogyny against Black women. But also, as that American who says, fuck the patriarchy, I am dismayed at the counter-revolution against women's reproductive rights, especially during this election year. And at the heart of dismantling that trifecta of misogyny, for my big idea, is the sexual revolution. Very briefly, the sexual revolution is I own my body. And that declaration tells the Muslim Brotherhood in my country of birth, Egypt, tells the Christian Brotherhood in my country of naturalization, the United States, as well as the Hindu Brotherhood, the Jewish Brotherhood, whatever brotherhood of mostly men of religion, to stay out of my vagina unless I want you in there. Thank you.